Life in the big city can be likened to a jungle, with its fast-paced and bustling economic activities. And yet, what distinguishes us humans from animals is our ability to look beyond ourselves and focus on the most vulnerable amongst us. This is the story of the abandoned. Port Harcourt, the center of Nigeria's oil industry and the capital of Rivers State. It's a land of opportunity, so much so that traffic congestion and inconvenience for motorists is an opportunity for young children to hawk items and clean car windscreens in order to make a quick buck. A group of young media entrepreneurs decide it is high time the story of the street children is told.
Hello everybody, my name is Precious Olu. I'm the founder of Groove Creek Entertainment System. What we are is simple. Groove Creek is a band of young individuals from different walks of life who have a knack for media production. Like I'm an architect. I actually work with a company called Demore Consults. I'm a project manager too as well. And there's several others. We've got radio presenters, we've got MCs, we've got lawyers, engineers, we've got different people from different walks of life. So what we do in Groove Creek is we're not just an entertainment company that's set out to entertain people. We actually produce content that informs society, that creates value in society. The Child Hope campaign was an idea that KO, one of our members, actually had. It was his idea that we should do something for the less privileged.
So basically 2016 made it exactly 4 years since I started my career as a broadcaster, and I felt like I could do more than just come on air every day to entertain and inform people. I felt like we could actually have a positive impact on society, and we could also appeal to our many listeners to help us with that. So I kind of think of it as bringing out the best in your listeners. So over the years I've been hearing of charity campaigns being run on stations overseas, and I always wondered why we hadn't done such things here in Nigeria. So I came up with the idea. I talked to Presh. It was almost as if I was talking to myself at the time, because I didn't really think he would get involved as much as he eventually did. So I told him that, I think we should do something like this for the homeless kids.
One day, he came up to me one day and was like, let's do something for the less privileged. It sounded like a great idea. It was like, let's do something on a wider scale, that would reach a lot of people at the same time, but directed towards helping the less privileged. So I was like, cool, sounds like a great idea. I think we should do research on what it is I wanted to do. So I'll point out that when we started out, we didn't have an idea who we were going to direct this campaign towards. We didn't know what exactly it was that we wanted to do, but we just knew we wanted to do something for the less privileged.
And he said, okay, he would be a part of it. We could go as far as creating awareness if we created a documentary about the whole experience. So that's how we got started. And prior to this project, honestly, I'd never visited a home for orphan children. So it was the first time I ever did such a thing. We started making calls. We were as clueless as anyone could be. So finally we got a number from a friend of ours, and she said, okay, we should go to this place around Diob, Port Harcourt, called the Marillac Center. And that's how we got there.
And when we got to the Marillac Center, it was an eye-opener for us. What we saw there blew us away.
Met up with the people, and from the first visit we were really moved by what we saw. Stories of how these children ended up in the home, and the great work that the sisters were doing at the time really inspired us.
We set out to locate the home, making our way through the streets of Diob, Port Harcourt, a part of town that's always bustling with life. The Marillac Center is not far from the State University, yet we wondered how many people knew it was there. We met Sister Carol, the project manager of the Marillac Center. Her role was like that of a mother to the children. She welcomed us into her office, Nothing could have prepared us for the stories she was about to tell us.
So they came to the center and we started talking to them, interacting with them, interviewing them. From there, they were able to share with us the challenges that brought them to the streets. One told us how the stepmother was beating him and he smashed his face on the iron rod.
In 2006, that was 10 years ago. I was staying with my father in Lagos, Burokiri. So my dad, he got married to another lady because what he told me was that my mom separated, they separated because they have small misunderstanding. Then sometimes my father used to go to work, he will not come back, he will not come back for a week. Then she be doing different things, that she may steal money and say that I'm the one that stole it. A year ago, he took me to a place called Obia to stay there, and that place is church. It's not the Cherubim church. Then let me just say the pastor there is a friend to him, so they now told him that I'm a winch. That is why I used to spoil the family, this thing. Then my father now asked me, I said no, that I'm not a winch. Then he was not threatening me, saying he's going to kill me, he's going to do this. Because of the fear and everything, I decided to lie to him that I'm a winch. Then nothing that I'm going to take cement water, that is cement, I'm going to drink it. So during that process now, they now brought my auntie, the one that I said she's the one that initiated me. When they now brought her, she was not telling them that she did not know anything. And within me, I know that she's saying the truth. But because of the fear and everything, they say she's going to drink the cement water.
I've been in the Marilag Center from the year 2007, when I was formerly on the streets due to circumstances, poverty, no money to afford for school fees and the rest of things with my shelter. So I had to hustle on my own to look for a living. So I found myself from the streets. Okay, I started from the place called Yamzun in Burokiri. That was where I was living. So from there, we strolled down to my home. Started life from there. We begin there. We start hustling, sweeping the market, looking for a living, carrying loads, do one thing or the other, just to get something to put in the stomach. Most of the times, you can't pass the night outside there because of what the government, police can never give you a rest there. They say call us sort of names like criminals, that we are, according to them in quotes, akanakba, we pickpockets. So when we come to this place, we do to explain ourselves to sister. So they introduce something to us called human rights. They were going to work with human rights, that they will supervise us, anything going on within the streets, that we should keep in touch with them.
I wonder how many other people who really don't sit down to observe the environment, I wonder how many other people know about this.
It dawned on us that if we were to make a lasting impact, the radio campaign should be well documented. About a week into the Give a Child Hope campaign, Sister Carol is invited for an interview on the 3 radio stations.
So the campaign took off on the 7th of January. We're appealing to our listeners to donate stuff. And honestly speaking, for the first couple of days, I was nervous because people weren't really bringing in things as I thought they would. So I was making calls, calling artists, hoping that people would come and support the campaign. And my friends are telling me, calm down, over some time to pick up. By the next week, everything started to take off. Items were rolling in, and I was like, wow, okay, this is looking good. And they just kept coming and coming. My colleagues started getting more and more excited because I had colleagues on Nigeria Info, Wazobia FM, and of course Cool FM making these appeals to their listeners to donate items. They were getting more excited. Everyone kept asking me if I had seen the stuff that people were bringing in. I was like, yeah. So the excitement just started to build up. And at some point we felt it was only right that we brought in Sister Carol so that the people listening can hear from her and she can tell some of those stories to the listeners. So she finally came on the radio and she was on Cool FM, Wazobia FM and Nigeria Info, sharing the stories about the home, the work that they are doing, and some of the stories that, the children had to share, the experiences that the children had.
To our surprise, the response we got from the public was overwhelming. People brought in bags of rice, food items, gift items. People even brought in cash donations. And we're like, in these times, we're trying to raise awareness. We're trying to raise the people's culture, because we actually had in mind that the culture of giving to charity was not wasn't a normal thing in Port Harcourt, in this environment, in Africa generally. We're usually, I'm used to seeing charity organizations, and I'm used to seeing regular Joes do charity in London, in the US. But it wasn't a very Nigerian thing to us. But the response we got really changed our opinion on that. We found out that people actually have the heart to give in Nigeria here. And it would just require stimulus. If people know about these situations, people are willing and able to give, to make life better for other people.
Listeners of the radio stations responded by stopping by to make their donations. One particular donor invited us to his office. After 2 weeks of the radio campaign, we had received a huge quantity of items ranging from foodstuff to clothing items, toys, and so on. The day had finally come to hand over the donated items to the Marillac Center.
So on the D-Day, that was the 23rd of January, Saturday, we didn't know what to expect. A couple of our colleagues from Wazobia, Nigeria Info, and Cool FM all came along with us for us to officially hand over the items that we had gotten from the listeners. And it took about 3 vehicles to move all the stuff there. But lo and behold, when we got there, they were prepared for us. They prepared little events just to welcome us. The children came out to dance, to showcase their talents. It was really a big deal for us because, we thought we'd just hand over the things and leave, but they wanted to really welcome us as special guests, which they did.
These kids are everywhere. We come across them every day. Like I heard about the case of these kids, that's children who sell pure water sachets on the streets of Port Harcourt. I hear we got to find out from the Marillac Center that some of these things are actually a small unit of a very large, complex, organized system. A child labor organized system. We heard about stories where these kids would be given targets to sell a certain amount and bring a certain amount of money back to their handlers, or they face punishment from the older ones.
There are many of them here that are selling pure water, and in that pure water they are being punished. One of them shared with us, we even called the policeman here, we wanted to go, that when they give them water to sell and he sells, he did not finish all the water, he must not return back with the water. And the madam, they call them madam, told him that he should come at least with 1,500 naira every day. Whenever he sells the water and it is not finished, he will have to pour the water away, beg people money to add to that particular amount. And any day he fails to get that amount, then that day the madam we call the bigger boys, the street boys, they will beat the child. After beating that child, there will be no food and the child will sleep outside.
So it is just a group of young people who believe we have certain small tools at our disposal that we could use to make the world a better place, and this is what it is that we just did. So we implore everybody else out there. I know your busy schedules, I know we've got our own problems, we've all got our issues and everything, but if we all reach out, if we all use that little that we have, that nothing that we think we don't have is something to someone else. If we can all just reach out, if everybody decides to give and live for someone else, just a little bit of help to the next person, the world will be a better place. Nigeria will be a much better place. The bridge between the haves and the have-nots will be built. Let me rephrase it. If everybody develops a giving spirit, there will be no have-nots in society, because everybody will have a little something. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody who supported this process, everybody who gave their time, who gave their gifts, gave their cash items. We implore you, it doesn't have to be through us. You don't have to stop there, because this problem is still there. You can always go back to the Marillac Center or find any home or any organization any charity organization around you. It doesn't have to be an organization. Look at your neighbor. Look at those kids on the street. Go to your village or go to the next person. Just anywhere around you. Just, they're less privileged. They're the people who need help. They're people who need help around you. Just see what you can do. Reach out. Give a helping hand. And let's make this world a better place. Thank you.
Despite the success of the radio campaign and filming of this documentary, sadly, the story continues. Within our society, factors such as lack of education, poverty, abuse are forcing children onto the streets to fend for themselves. Homes for orphan children are in dire need of support from individuals and groups. As we struggle for our survival, let's not forget what makes us human, our ability to look beyond our desires and consider the needs and wants of those who need our help. Because whether we want to admit it or not, there are still lots of them out there.